And welcome to episode 22 of the Dreamhills to Dreamhills podcast. The beach bars, they are going to be open soon, hopefully anyway. The Orwella Council, they're set to sign the beach bar contract with Chiringuitos de Sol today, Friday the 3rd of August at 9 o'clock. The company will then be allowed to provide the service immediately, and that was said by the councillor for the beaches, Louisa Boney. She also said that they will still have to stock the bars and employ the staff, although it is unclear whether the 160 workers who were made redundant when the service was cancelled in April will be hired again. The council is lending the bars to the company for 2018 so that the service can be up and running as soon as possible. She also noted that the financial offer for the 2018 will have to be adjusted to the days that the company is able to provide the service. She pointed out that the bids that were submitted were based on the service operating in July as well. And as we know, that didn't happen. It will include the toilet facilities, sunbeds, umbrellas, and the beach leisure and sports activities. All the beach bars, except the ones at Cala Bosque and La Caleta beaches, which are allowed to remain open all year, have to be dismantled after the summer by Chiringuitos de Sol. The company will then have to reinstall new beach bars stipulated in the tender shortly before Easter of next year. The bars at Cala Bosque and La Caleta will be dismantled in January by the council and new ones installed by the company. Chiringuitos de Sol, as we know, they had provided service in Orwella for a number of years, and the previous contract is still under investigation by the prosecution service. But Signora Boney stressed that the judge has not issued an order of banning the company from bidding for public tenders, and that the investigation is not related to the current contract, and claimed the existing service is not at risk. So good news, as I said, they are still going to have to stock the bars and get the people employed, but hopefully within a week or so those beach bars will be open, and with the very, very hot weather that you're having there at the moment, it is a welcome break and welcome addition to the beaches, so that people can actually go and get a little bit of shade and some drink. So well done. Glad to see them back opening again. As I say, they will be slightly different next year. There'll be different design due to the tender that was put in. So let's see how they go. But at least they now have contract for the next 3 years, which will be good news. So well done to everybody involved there, and welcome to Chiringuitos de Sol for keeping with it. 37 million tourists have so far been to Spain this year, and the figure is higher than 1.8% higher than the report for the first half of 2017. In June alone, 8.5 million tourists visited Spain, and that's 1.3% more than in June last year. Once again, the UK is the main market for Spanish holidays, and despite a 2% drop in comparison to 2017, British tourists still add up to 8.4 million so far this year. The number of French visitors rose by 1.4% to reach 4.8 million tourists, while the number of German holidaymakers dropped 5.7% to 5.2 million. Quite a drop there, actually, for the Germans. I do notice that there are quite a few more, maybe Russians, coming into the market. But as according to these figures, it's a 2% drop, as say, from the British, rose by 1.4% by the French, and dropped quite heavily by the Germans. Hopefully Brexit, as we know, that's going to happen in March next year. It won't affect the figures too much, but as everybody knows, we still don't know what's actually going to happen there's Brexit talks and everything else. No one really knows. There's always conjecture and everything else. So let's see what happens. The taxi drivers, they've all been on strike, as we know. It's caused havoc in Spain for a week, for all last week really. Everywhere throughout Spain, so Madrid, Barcelona, Alicante, even at the airport there, and in Torrevieja. It was suspended yesterday, Thursday. So tens of thousands of drivers have blocked the roads in the country's major cities and staged protests in Torrevieja, Orwella Costa and Alicante Elche Airport. They've called on the government to take action under competition from drivers with VTC licences working for firms such as Cabify and Uber, which can be hired via smartphone applications. And it's been quite a bit of animosity between the taxi drivers and these other companies. I can see their point. They do pay a lot of money for these licences, but there has to be competition, I think. The VTC vehicles, some of them, have actually been vandalised, and drivers have been threatened during the demonstrations. One driver even showed a bullet hole in the back of the window of his car where he had been shot at. Now, as I said, I can see their point, the taxi drivers, but exalting to maybe threatening and behaviour and actually being shot at, it's just gone a little bit too far. As I say, I can see their point, but let's not go into the depths of that sort of in bits and pieces that we don't really want to happen. The Public Works Minister, Jose Luis Abalos, has proposed that the regional governments should regulate the VTC sector. However, this will be voluntary, and if they refuse, then the sector in that region will fall under the rules of the national legislation again. At the same time, a good practice working group will be set up to try to ensure that competition between the traditional taxis and the VTC vehicles should benefit the public transport sector, and taxis should increase in competitiveness. Taxi driver associations, they've stated that the truce is not a climb down, and they will strike again in September or October if they have to. In Torrevieja on Monday, more than 80 taxi drivers who work in the municipality stopped work between 9 o'clock and midday and only operated a minimum service. They went on a go-slow drive around the main cities of the town, holding up the traffic. In Orihuela, drivers only offered a reduced service, but noted that medical transport and basic services would be available. On their website, Cabify maintained that their customers can enjoy various benefits that aren't always available with taxis. Now, I've used Uber. I didn't find them too bad, to be honest. Never used them in Spain. But as I say, I can see everybody's point in this, but let's not go down into the depths of vandalism and threatening behaviour, please. It's not nice. There's going to be a street demonstration for Orihuela Costa. And basically, the Residents Association, as they've recognised that it could be one of the largest demonstrations in Orihuela Costa. It will take place next Friday, August the 10th, at 6:30 in the evening during peak holiday season. The president says that they are angry over the lack of investment, the poor refuse collection services, lack of cultural facilities, cultural events, the unfair allocation of funding, the uncompleted emergency centre project, the lack of park maintenance, the toll on the AP7 motorway, and other historic demands. Several local associations and the Claro Party are supporting the demonstration. However, they did stress that they had no political affiliation and is for the residents by the residents. They said that we are all facing up to with the same problems and the inaction of the local government, and we are worried by local authorities regardless of our nationality or whether we live in inland or urbanisations. The demonstration starts at the Cala Bosque beach, where a speech in Spanish, English and German explaining their demands will be met. Which will be read out. It then goes along the Avenida del Mar, crosses the N332 via the footbridge to the road to Villa Martin, and finishes at the abandoned building of the emergency centre, where a speech in 3 languages will be read out. The building site of the incomplete emergency centre has become the symbol for the abandonment of the coast. He also highlighted that the Orihuela Costa contributes 62.7% of the monies for the local budget, but funding is not allocated in a balanced way. The association has brought a lawsuit against the unfair funding, and saying it's against the Spanish constitution. He also said that the ongoing projects, such as the building works of the new Playa de Orihuela primary school, are due to the hard work and daily protests of the parents, not due to the work of the council, and sadly they expect profiting nothing from them anymore. The management of the council has been a disaster for Orihuela Costa, they say. Now, I do agree with them in some respects. There's a lot of money that the Orihuela Costa does feed into the region there, and it does seem as though we do get sort of left behind. So let's see what happens there. If you want to join that, as I said, it starts at the Calabosque Beach, also at the Calamosca Beach, and then goes across the Avenida del Mar and up to the Villa Martin. San Miguel de Salinas, there's talk about a rubbish plant going up there. Basically, they were saying that they want a waste management consortium has been made public by the San Miguel, made public by the San Miguel Environment Councillor. And the project has been submitted by a private company, and it's been backed by the consortium's Socialist Party, the PSOE majority. Said that it has been planned for a site which is around 3 kilometres outside the town centre of San Miguel de Salinas, but they do not know where. She vowed that the council will use all legal matters to stop the plant, but admitted the consortium has the legal power to press ahead. She also labelled that a death sentence for the local economy, which is mainly based on agriculture and the building of holiday homes. She claimed that little information about the scheme has been provided by the consortium, and they have not been allowed a copy of the project. This is an outdated and unsustainable waste management process, and we refuse to trust the waste. We refuse to treat the waste from Pilar de Horadada, Torrevieja or Orihuela Costa, because we produce very small amounts of waste, she said. The president of the San Miguel Archangel Residents Association said that the plant is supposed to process around 100,000 tonnes of waste a year, and 60% of it cannot be recycled. Both Senor Gomez and Senora Costa agreed that the scheme is suspicious because no information has been given. They hit out at the lack of transparency. Where is all the waste going to be properly stored until it can be sorted by the plant? Asked Senora Gomez. Where is 60% of the unrecyclable waste going to be dumped? Town halls are currently paying high transport costs to take rubbish produced by the local population and tourists to plants outside the area. Now, as we know, in the Dreamhills area, there was talk about a waste management or recycling plant going over by Entree Golf. And as we all know, that got defeated in the end. And hopefully that the San Miguel de Salinas residents there and the associations can also stop that going ahead there as well. Because with all the burning going on, what smells will be coming out, it could be rather, not very nice at all. So good luck to the San Miguel de Salinas residents and the associations there. Hopefully you can get that sorted out and get that stopped. The Torrevieja Town Hall chiefs, they've not been able to move the Wednesday market that gets held at La Mata and that, to its new location, because an evacuation and safety plan was not drawn up for the new street site. The Deputy Mayor, Fanny Serrano, reminded that the Coalition Council approved the project to transfer the stalls away from the potentially dangerous Cal Emperadors on April 27th. However, in the suggestions and objections process which followed, it was pointed out that any public event which will receive more than 1,000 visitors in an area of more than 5,000 square metres is legally required to have such a plan. She also explained that the council officers have now been working on this for a number of weeks. Once it is completed, the transfer will go ahead because the situation has to be resolved. She also reminded that the government told the town hall that the market cannot be held on the Cal Emperadores, and that's because the Guardia Civil report states At the centre of the road, which is actually constructed over the channel that links the Lamata Salt Lake to the other area for the desalination and stuff, doesn't support the weight of vehicles. It is signed as a no parking area. Hundreds of tourists ignore the warning and leave their cars on the stretch each day during the summer. The new location for the Wednesday market is around 500 metres to the south of the current site. So yeah, I've never been to that market. If you have, what do you think? I don't know. Smoking-free beaches have been announced. Now, not completely smoking-free. It's in the Murcia region, and it's going to advise against smoking on some of its beaches, according to the regional government. The smoking-free beaches have been set up in several different municipalities. These are the Playa de Villanitos in San Pedro, the El Pescador and El Castilico in Santiago de la Riera, and the Playa Mistral in La Manga, the Playa de la Conchita in Los Alcaceres, and the Playa del Rihuet in Mazaron. It says that they're not prohibiting smoking, but trying to persuade people to give up a habit which is very damaging for their health, and says it is important that we get used to the fact that the normal thing to do is not smoke. The beaches are identified on signs as a Playa Sin Burno, smoking-free beach. But she did say that, reminded that not smoking was voluntary. At the same time, she noted that leaflets will be handed out and reminding people of damages that smoking can do. I've also put a link onto the Dreamhills 2 Facebook site concerning the fiestas in Elche. If you can get along to them, please do. It's really, really nice fiestas there, really exciting ones and good ones. And also you had the night of Alba fireworks, which carry on all night from all around the town and the city itself. It is quite spectacular, and if you can go there, please do. As I said, there's a link on the Dreamhills 2 Facebook site for that, with everything that's going on the various days. Also, well done to everybody concerned in the area on doing the fiesta. As I said, that is going to be in the next couple of weeks. I hope to get a report of that back from the people that attended to it, and I'll report on that as well. Please also do go to all of your local bars. There's Soraya Bar down at Dreamhills 2 Commercial Centre, all of the bars up at Via Park 3 and at Via Park 5. Okay, well, once again, thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you all again next week sometime. Bye-bye.